Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how to make these little ornaments. I picked up a set of acrylics just the other day. I haven't painted with acrylics for like 10 years. It's been a while. I think I did a little bird when we still lived in Atelier, and before that I basically used acrylics when I was like 16, 17. So I'm not very well versed in doing it, but I had a lot of fun, and I've been making these little like snow globes with crystals in them. I really like making them, so I made a whole bunch and I put up on my store, and I thought I'd show you how I make them. Also, if you want to have this specific one, just comment down below and tell me what you love about Christmas. And if you don't love Christmas or don't celebrate Christmas, tell me what you love about the winter season, because I don't know, it's the first snow today, so I'm super happy. It just snowed outside. Yay! But yeah, snow globes. Let's jump into the video.
So let's start with all of the supplies. The wooden slices are by Artisa. I got 42 in a package. The brushes and the paint is from Panduro. It is a heavy body acrylic, and I'm gonna paint in some pinks and some oranges to make these little kind of crystals that is going to be in a snow globe. Then I have this mixing pad, some water, and of course a cup of coffee, because we do need a cup of coffee. I start by mixing some purple and some reds to make kind of the main shape of the snow globe. This is supposed to be kind of the outline, but I found a way of doing it that made it so much easier. I didn't have to be like super fiddly with it. When I had filled out that line, I am then kind of measuring out where I want to have the base of the snow globe, and I'm going to color that in the same color. Next step, after I kind of filled in the globe somewhat, I am going to make some dimension on that stand for the snow globe. So what I do is I make a light pink / white in the middle of it, and then kind of gradient carefully get it out to the edges, and therefore it feels like it's super round. It is fiddly, and I'm so not used to working with acrylics, so it takes me a little time before I get where I want to go with it, but it's a lot of fun. Now I'm going to just fill in the snow globe with a lighter color, but I'm leaving that super thin line so I get that dark outline of my snow globe. It does mean that I have a little bit of a darker base to begin with, but I do want to have that because I'm going to build up the lights on top of it. Next step is going to go in with some Posca. Posca pens are acrylic paint, so it's basically similar to what is in the tubes, but in pen form, which makes making lines and dots and stuff much easier. So I picked up 2 white ones, and I have started by kind of just tracing out the crystals here with the help of the thinnest one. I am going to color over most of these lines and then recolor them again, but this is a very easy way to map out how you want the crystals to be. A note, I rather have 5 than 4. However, I ended up with 4 here, so yeah, that's how it's gonna be. Here I kind of just do a little line where they are going to overlap to remind myself of how much of the different crystals that I'm going to be coloring. The next step is to start with the shadows, which was a lot of fun. Like, I really like coloring with acrylics. This is something I hope I can continue doing and learning more and more about how to kind of shape the medium after how I work. My designs gets a little bit kind of build probably too much paint, so it gets a lot of texture, but then again acrylics do build a lot of texture, and many people use acrylics to build texture, so maybe I'm not doing it wrong. I don't know. When I watched some crystals, like I looked at crystals, I looked at a lot of different paintings of crystals, and one of the things that I saw when I did look at those crystals was that they usually had like one color where the shadow fell in one way, and where the shadow fell another way, they had another color. So the way I am working on these are that the light source, I would say, would be kind of in the upper top. So the shadows that are on the sides, both the left side and the right side, are going to be this kind of pinkish reddish tone, and I'm going to build it up even more. And then the ones that are more facing us are going to be this orange tone. More of a coral than an orange, but it was a lot of fun to play with anyhow. The light orange here is very much more coral. It has a lot more pink in the light tone, but I did want to have those kind of darker colors to be in the deepest shadow to build up dimension. This very big tip: if you are coloring something and you feel that it falls a little flat, that is usually because you don't have enough contrast, so you don't have enough difference between your lights and your darks. So you want to have a deeper dark and a lighter light to be able to get that contrast. And when you work here, I work with white, and I'm not making my little crystal really see-through. The purple ones that I made look better. I want to say that, even though I'm giving this away for it to you, I must say the purples ended up being better, and they are up in the store if you want to look at them. And if you like this kind of ball, snowball, and actually don't want to risk not winning this one, I do have them in my store, and my store is always linked in the description down below. But yeah, I bit by bit build up, and then I kind of break down and build up and break down and build up and break down. That's kind of how it works. So I add more lights, and then I add too much lights, so then I add more darks, and kind of move the color back and forth until I have it where I want it. I think that is what I really like with acrylics, is that you can always just paint over it, redo it again, and try again. It ends up being a little bit thicker when you do that, but there's always a possibility to do it. I have worked with oils before, and what I like with oils is that they stay wet a little bit longer, so they are easier to blend. But I also know that there are mediums that you can mix with your acrylics to make them stay wet longer, so that you can get more of an oil texture when you work with them. And with oils, what I don't like with them is that they stay wet too long. You have to wait like days in between each layer. Here you can wait just minutes and then it's dry. This is the kind of last step. I have come to where I want to be with my crystals. So then I go in and work with the background. And the background, the idea is that it's going to be darker behind the crystals and then lighter around. So that is what I'm working on here. And I'm going to go back and forth between darker pink and lighter pink. And one of the reasons why I do that is because as I started with such a dark color, that kind of seeps through a lot. So you need a couple of layers to get the lighter pink a little bit more opaque. But I really liked how it ended up being. It took a couple of tries, but it's okay. I'm actually working with the same brush. I do have two brushes, one thick and one thin, but I found I think this is like not an angled brush, but a flat brush. That is it. This is just a flat brush that I work with, and that works great. For the last pieces, I'm just going in with the little white lines around them, and then we're coming to the little snow. So I start with the smaller pen to make the smallest evenly made snowflakes, and then I go in with a bigger pen and just make snowflakes all over. And then it's done painted. I take about 14 inches of this ribbon that I found in a drawer. These projects have been using up everything that I have at home, except for the acrylics, which I actually bought. And then I cut that little strip on the ribbon because it makes it easier to go through the hole. Cut that off, just make a knot at the top, and our little ornament is done. So that's the ornament. Next step is to make a little box. This is how it's gonna look. This is super simple, but they look really, really good. So first I'm gonna cut down 2 pieces of cardstock. The first I cut down at 7 3/4 square, and then I cut at 7 7/8 a square, because by making it a little bit bigger, you will be able to make a really good lid. Then I'm gonna score it, and I score it at 1 1/4, 1 3/4, and 2 1/4 on all edges. And the reason why I score on one side is because it goes very much faster. But also when I do this on the bigger lid, because I do the exact same measurements on the bigger cardstock, then the inner part of it gets to be about 1/8 of an inch bigger, both horizontal and vertical, which gives the lid just that little bit of extra room that you need to be able to put it on top of the box. Super simple. That's the only calculation you have to do for this. Next step for making the box is to cut it down, or no, score it. You always score it first. So score the wider tabs at the top inwards, and then I'm gonna just turn it around and score all the others in the other direction, because those tabs actually goes inside the box. This usually you don't really need that much glue to put one of these together. However, I like to glue it together a little bit, or tape it together. So this is what you're gonna cut away, the one where I show with a white marker. Start by doing a little bit of a miter on that first tab. Then I'm cutting off that whole first white piece and miter that. I'm gonna miter this, gonna leave it straight on one of the sides and then miter it just on the other, and that's kind of the base of the box. And I just cut round the same way, miter and cut down. In this case, I have the tabs on the same side. Some boxes, when you make them, you kind of make the little tabs go one out from each corner, but I make them on the same side because I feel it makes the box a little bit easier to decide which is the front and which is the sides and back. But yeah, I miter down and miter. So the tabs are mitered on both sides. These small little tabs on the sides, which are 2 of those smaller boxes high, while the bigger tabs, the outer tabs, they are also mitered on each side. However, the middle part of it is not mitered, because that is what is going to be the box's sides. So start by taping all of the tabs, and then I turn it around and I tape the inner one of these rows. That's all the tape you need. I fold it up, kind of line it up at the edge, and then I just push that little tab together. And by kind of massaging in the tab towards the side, that will kind of burnish in the glue and make it stick a little better. I'm using the Funky Tape Runner because it's actually got a really good stickiness. So I really like that. And then I just fold in the bigger tabs into each other, and there is your box. Super simple. Did the same with the lid, and the box is done. I have also cut down a strip of tissue paper. Mine is a little bit thicker. It's like packing paper. I really love it to package my all of the things I sell in my store. And this is kind of the box you get when you buy in my store too. And then I just fold that paper together so it folds nicely. Put the lid on.
Hi, I just wanted to come in here and say, if you want to win this, just comment down below your favorite about winter or Christmas or, well, this time of year. So if you want to win this, you can put it in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!